Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy Foster with me. What's up, bro?
Not much, man. Living the dream, man.
Man, you don't sound hype enough for this game we got coming up. It's one win away from the Super Bowl, man. You gotta be excited.
That just sounds just so crazy.
It doesn't seem real. And and it's a shame because like the 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 outsiders who don't understand Detroit Lions football are basically thinking they haven't done anything yet. You know what I'm saying?
Who says that?
I'm just saying, like, they wouldn't understand the excitement. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be a game before, like, for instance, I had someone say, "Well, they haven't won the Super Bowl yet. Why? What's with the excitement?" And it's like, bro, what it took to get here, the seasons, the misery, it's a lot. It's a lot. As a fan, Dave.
I saw that.
Anyway, it's a lot. It's a lot, but it is an achievement in itself. I am not content though. I'm not going to accept any moral victories. Um, I want a Super Bowl win. I want a trip to the Super Bowl. Um, will the season be a failure without it? No.
It's too late for that. Too late for failures. We didn't already.
We've over. Well, can we say we overachieved, Foss?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We
Okay.
can say that.
Okay, just checking, just checking. I mean, what was our expectations? 11-6, playoff berth, right?
Win the division.
Win the division.
Because it's not to say that 11-6 wins your division automatically. I mean, it puts you in a good
No,
spot, but
no. We very well could have lost the division at 11-6
yeah,
this year, and
this year.
there were some teams in our division that struggled before, that struggled early in the season, that could have very well the division itself was very competitive within, battling each other. We split every game except for Minnesota, but that was the team we were worried about in the beginning of the season.
Right.
But
And the team that we were worried about, like going into those games, we were still,
yeah, and then they were on their third string quarterback. So that's how it went for Minnesota this year. They were decimated by injuries. Like it was bad over there. Like to be on your third string quarterback and still have a chance to be in the playoffs because they lost Kirk Cousins, game 2?
Nah, was it that early?
I don't know, but they were. I don't know. It was at least by game 4.
Yeah, 4 sounds right. 2
It might have been
sounds
around
super.
game 4, but I know it wasn't. It was a lot of football to be played when he went out.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'll get that number correct soon because I'm pretty sure Dave will let me know. But that was the only team that we had, that we won both games with, and they were, like I said, they were playing with their third quarterback.
Wow, he had some good numbers before he got 18-5 was his numbers before he got hurt.
Yeah. When did he get hurt?
Halloween, like October 29th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in. Halfway.
Oh, okay. That's
He
midway.
Was having a good year.
Yeah, mid-season. Yeah. To that division, our division was very competitive within each other. I think slow starts at the beginning of the season for the Bears and Green Bay. Green Bay wound up balling out for the rest of it. They looked scary at the end of the season. After Thanksgiving, they looked pretty formidable.
Sam Fran can tell you something a little bit about how scary they were.
Yeah. And they they dominated Dallas and they took Frisco to the brink. Like they were ahead in the third quarter. They were ahead 21-14. They were ahead in the third quarter, and it looked like Green Bay was going to win that game. So to be as far as we are is an accomplishment. I'm, I just I don't know, boss. I want a victory, but at the same time, and I'll probably be disappointed.
Of
Uh,
course, of course.
but at the same time, I don't want to hear none of this dumb talk about choke or anything else like that. SOL. We're getting rid of
It
that.
can't be saying it can't be SOL because nobody, not too many people in there that we talking to can even recall the last time. So the only way it could be same old is if we've done that before and you can recall it. So
Okay.
that
Yeah.
one don't even apply. Choke, that's just people running their mouth.
But
But
but Foster, like maybe see, you saw the Facebook groups and the posts and all that other stuff. I've seen some outlandish stuff this season, and it's like, come on,
and it was more justified before we made the playoffs. It was
man.
more
Yeah.
justified before we won that first game. That first game. At
Right.
this point, when you talk about house money, that's where we're at because that's not where we were supposed to be. We were not. We looked at after the trade deadline and we only got Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had cashed their chips in like, well, see y'all next year. Hopefully we can continue. Maybe hopefully we can continue the momentum that we have had the last 2 years of winning seasons
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't do enough to make it to the NFC Championships with the moves we made. So to be at this point, we gotta just say, hey, of course we want to win it all. Of course, all, not just get to the Super Bowl. We
Right.
want to win it all. So we'll be disappointed with anything less than that. But to say that it wasn't a successful season, cap. That's cap.
They haven't been here if they say it's not a successful. They haven't paid attention to the lines if they can't say this is a successful season. Like the the I think after this season, it's like bar setting. You know what I'm saying, if you will,
Yeah.
because any bar that was set previously, we surpassed that bar.
Yeah, it's like the Eagles. Like the Eagles, they went to Super Bowl last year. So of course, they had a high bar because they went to the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
And their disappointment, I'm sure, hit hard because their expectation they couldn't really live up to them unless they went and won. So that's where we will be at, and that's where I want to be at. I want to be the next 5 years reaching that level 3 and 5, 3 and 4 times out of the next 5 years. I don't want it to end here, no matter where it is. I don't want it to end on this season. So that's where we're at now. That's where the Detroit Lions are at now.
Oh, Dave, let me read this comment from Dave. If the Packers lose to the Niners or other teams in the playoff, that falls into SOL. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
SOP, same old Pat.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we got San Francisco coming up this week.
Yeah.
Um, I'm willing to bet that Debo Samuel will play.
You still think? I thought they said he's out.
That was a comment. That was a post that somebody said on Facebook. However, he is questionable.
I did see the cue, but I just figured, hey, I'm going with he's not playing.
We're hoping he's not playing, but
I'm going
I
with that.
would not. I think if he plays, he's not going to be at 100%. I don't think he's going to be 100%, but I don't think anyone is at 100% too much at this time of the year. There's nicks and bruises everywhere. And I also think that That's a matchup. I think either CD Deuce handles, not or handles, or is there, or it's going to be Branch kind of matched up with him.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Deuce has
oh,
made it very apparent that
yeah, oh my gosh,
he said when, and I love and I liked it when he said it because at this point he's hurt. We have no idea whether he's coming back or whether the Lions will even be, whether we'll be limping into the playoffs. But he said when we catch, when we see y'all later on this year, and he knew they weren't in the regular. It wasn't going to be in the regular season. It would
yeah,
have had to been in the playoffs, and it would have to have been late too.
hmm,
He said when we see you, I, I'm on your heels.
yeah.
And it sounded like, sounds
That's
cute. But here we are. Here we are.
a matchup you have to pay attention to. Like
Oh yeah.
you kind of like, even though you know how good Debo Samuel, you want to see this matchup. Whether if you're a Lions fan, you want to see him on the field. You want to see this matchup.
And I got faith because CD Deuce is yet to not back up anything that he said. So I gotta feel like he's that confident. And he said, and I can guard you. Not we gonna get you to. I can guard you. I,
That's
I
wild.
believe it. I
That's
believe
kind of
it.
wild.
He's been there. It's not like
Yeah,
that rivalry comes from them playing against each other because Philly. So they went against each other in Philly, right? When he was in Philly,
mhm. Yeah, and but I think they're around the same timeline as uh the SEC. I think they
in
were in
college.
college
So
around the same time.
where did Samuel go?
South Carolina,
Ah, yeah. I think
Florida, South
that goes
Carolina.
back to yeah.
I think
And
they were in college around the same time. Don't quote me on that, but that
it
rival,
sounds right. Yeah.
yeah, that they might have played against each other. Don't know. I think
I want to say that, and I want to say the Saints and Niners played heads up too, because that's where he got drafted,
yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
to New Orleans. So that rivalry is deep.
yeah. They generally they pretty much they do have a disdain for each other. There's no they don't like each other. They've been
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
crazy to each other. Crazy to each other.
This competition is football, but yeah, they you know, rivalries.
Yeah. I think the approach, what do you think the approach is? Keys to winning this game.
So
I
what are
can't.
the approaches?
Yeah. You good now.
Am I good or is it
Yeah, you're good.
okay? So just in general, you're saying the attack to my from our
Yeah.
defense to their offense.
But however you want to put it. However you want to put it.
I mean, I think everything starts with Christian McCaffrey. He's
Man,
an explosive guy,
that's a tough order.
running back. Yeah, number one running back in the
Tall
entire.
order.
Yeah, and he's a dual threat, so he's
Yeah.
as equally dangerous running the ball as he is out of the backfield catching the ball. So that's where it really starts. He is. I mean, you got George Kittle, solid. I think has seen his best years. Debo
Hmm.
Samuel's obviously going to be banged up, and I think Brandon Ayuk
He's
he's
Brandon
solid.
Ayuk. Yeah.
He's solid. Um, but McCaffrey, and we've stopped the run pretty well. Um, it early on, Tampa Bay was kind of getting loose on us.
Tampa Bay was running the ball against us. I'm just gonna keep it above.
He only had 60 yards running though.
Yeah, but he
Granted they only attempted 13 the whole game, and
yeah.
they were pretty prolific through the air. When I looked at it, I say 60 yards. That's
On
about what we give
13
up.
attempts.
Yeah, yeah. That's well, the running back. His name escapes me, but he had 6 yards of carry. So
Yeah.
that's
That's
solid.
I tell you what, if McCaffrey averages 6 yards a carry. He's going to get the ball more than 13 times. That's all
and
I'm
he and he's gonna catch, the screens, and so yeah, yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I'm not terribly worried about Debo, and you know,
saying. There's
we've
two
been
things
known.
that worry me about Frisco,
What's up?
and you touched on McCaffrey, uh, Kittles,
Yeah,
Kittles, and their defensive line.
yeah,
Those are two things that worry me about this game.
yeah,
Um, I think we do have an offensive line that can keep them at bay. Um, Green Bay had a lot of success keeping them off of their quarterback.
yeah. No sack, no sack.
So it's not like it's an impossible task, but at the same time, Chase Young, um, Bosa, I think the corners, can be suspect.
Hmm. They're about
Uh,
middle of the pack against the pass.
yeah,
14th against the pass.
and I do like our wide receiver core. I do like our wide receiver core. So
Laporta.
and Laporta, I think if we're able if we're able to run the ball, if we're able to run the ball, I think the offense. That's where the offense, clicks. That's when
Yeah, I think
everything's running on all cylinders. When you can run the ball with Montgomery and Gibbs, it opens up everything else.
I think staying true to it and not abandoning it too fast. Like I
Right.
was all for them abandoning the run. I can genuinely say I was like, this
I
ain't
I,
it.
I was
You
sitting there
get
telling you
stuffed
like,
up.
man, we
You
need
get
to run the
stuffed up.
ball.
No, you did. And a lot of people were saying like, don't sleep on the run too soon. I can honestly say that that was me. But yeah, if we can, and the Niners are pretty, they're about as tough against the run as Tampa Bay was. So that is, be
Hmm.
take that for what it is. They are
Yeah.
about as tough. They're third against the run. I don't know where Tampa Bay was top five,
Yeah.
wherever they were. Um, but honestly, Chase Young only had 2.5 sacks since the trade. He didn't have, and nobody had any sacks against Green Bay. Bosa is tough. 10.5 sacks. I think Hutch had more than 10.5 overall, right?
Yeah. Hold that thought real quick.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We got to keep him off golf. We don't want golf running around back there. He looks like he got
Running,
sandbags.
he won't be doing.
Got sandbags taped to his ankles. It's just not a pretty sight if he
Yeah.
has to scramble and has to run. Although he did have a what was it, an 8-yard scramble last? That was the that
Got
was a big
loose.
game for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we can run the ball and keep God protected, the offense will have a good day. Uh, the defense has made plays when they've had to, and that's all year long. And they had some bad series, uh, but they did. Did you see they did a couple of there's a couple of things floating around on YouTube about Iffy. I don't know.
What about?
I mean, like highlight reels, like giving him props. There's one that talks about from his high school all the way up until now.
Mm,
Like, and that's all it took was mid-season, like near the end of the season, make some plays. Now they talked about, like, I know where he's from. I didn't have any idea he was from England. His family, or I don't know if it's England, but Europe for sure. But his family moved over here
mm,
to Massachusetts when he was a kid. He was
Massachusetts.
recruited by UConn. Syracuse, Michigan recruited him late, but it was too late. He didn't want to go to UConn because his brother was there. He had a brother that went there, an older brother, and he said Michigan was too late, and Syracuse was the perfect fit for him. It was another team that was in that recruiting race, but he said Michigan just approached him too late. You know what I'm saying? They saw interest and it was too late. He already had his eyes fixed on I think it was Boston College or Syracuse. And he said Syracuse was perfect for him. So there's stuff floating around. They're starting to notice uh, what he's doing back there, and I think
I've seen the
one of the
media
things,
definitely pick up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and the thing is, Aaron Glenn will never get credit for the wrinkle that he's added with him because they might have blitzed with Tracy Walker a little bit, but he wasn't getting home like if he gets there, and then
Yeah.
it's he's such a threat that he's made plays on the back end as well.
Yeah.
So a couple interceptions. So it's like, hey, it's crazy. I mean, who leads the team in interceptions?
I want to say Kirby.
It might be Jury.
Oh,
It might
my
be.
bad, my bad. No, I think he's got two. I think he's got two, and I think Kirby's got like. Because remember he had.
He had
Remember I
two
was
in
saying he
one
was having an
game.
off. Yeah, I was saying he had an off
He
game,
might
but
got four. He might has four.
I want. Yeah, I want to say he has four. In the Cowboys game, he got the fourth one, and CD Deuce got
Two already.
Branch has like three.
Yeah.
It's not a big number. Not a
No,
big number. We got a couple, but
it's
yeah,
spread out.
Deuce has got two in what, two games in 3 games? Like,
I mean, the Sutton
yeah,
guy. Let me stop.
bro.
My bad. I
That's
shouldn't
the
have.
one thing. Even when he was, man, it's funny
I,
because around the player profile time, we were like, he's been the unsung hero. He never even has to make tackles. They don't even throw his way. I
well,
think he's.
they,
I,
they
I
throwing his
think
way
he's
now.
playing hurt too. I think he's playing hurt too. Remember, he was on the injured list one game, and he might there's a chance that he might miss a game. I
Hmm.
wouldn't be surprised. Things have been different since he went on that injury report,
Well,
but that's neither here nor there. I feel like
they're
I'm arguing
definitely
for him on
they're
posts about
definitely
every day.
they're definitely throwing the ball his way now. Like a lot, a lot. They're
Yeah,
throwing the
yeah,
ball his way.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I I've argued and I've defended.
It's past the league, man.
Yeah, I defended him to the letter for a little while, and it was
I used to
uh,
defend Jerry Jacobs. Remember we used to do that?
yes, you did. You were very foolish, I must say. Yeah, you were. Yeah, you have the mind of a cornerback when it comes to critiquing these guys out there on the island.
And
You
my
just
brother's a D. My brother's a DBs, man.
yeah. I
Comes from a
mean,
good
it's not
place.
a easy. Now, it's not an easy job,
It's the
and
toughest. It's the
and
toughest. Next to
and
quarterback.
and and Jacobs has uh has fought his way to get to this point. If you think about it, anybody that's undrafted at a corner and starts has done some amazing things to get there. Like you just don't. That doesn't happen in the NFL. If you go undrafted as a corner and wind up as a starter, unless 4 or 5 people get hurt in front of you, that's usually the case.
He was our best corner last year, wasn't he?
Um,
Okuda, Owarie, Jacobs is the only one that returned next to Will Ayers.
hey Foster, do me a favor. Do not mention those other 2 corners again on our show.
Hey, hey, we had to put somebody out there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, don't mention the O word and the other guy that I'm disappointed in the other guy because the year before
Was
he had a bunch of,
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's neither here nor there. I don't want to get into all
It's
that.
a tough world for those corners. I'm
Yeah,
telling you what.
yeah. if you watch the game, scroll down on Facebook and you'll see the Cam Sutton. Oh my goodness, they were roasting him horribly during the game. And it was like one series before half. He didn't have a bad game. He had a bad series where he gave up two very big passes on one drive. But other than that, he was, he didn't, it wasn't too bad.
And when you put it in perspective, no one has stopped Evans his whole career since
No.
he was 22 years old entering the league. That he has never been held under 1,000. You know how hard it is to play enough games every year to
At
qualify
wide
for a
receiver.
thousand yards?
At wide
Yeah,
receiver.
you
Yeah.
gotta play this. You can't miss half a season. Like even if you have an amazing season, but you miss like 4 or 5 games with a bad hammy, you're not getting 1,000 yards.
Let's put
Jamar
this
Jefferson did it.
let's put this in perspective. At the beginning of the game, he dropped some passes. He dropped some passes. He still had over 100 some odd yards. So that just shows how good he is. Like he
He's
dropped.
really, really.
Yeah, I remember they were talking about um Aaron Glenn was telling his people he's scared out there. He's scared out there. Evans is
Oh,
scared.
that's what Glenn said.
Yeah, that's what the commentator said Glenn was saying.
I hope that didn't get back to him.
That was mid game though. It couldn't have got
Yeah.
back to him.
Oh, well, if he
Yeah.
said it out loud,
I mean, he's on the other sideline. I doubt if they heard it, but he might have
relives,
he
relives.
he might have convinced his
Did he
cornerback that
say it
he was
under? Did
scared.
he say it under his?
I don't know how he said it, but that's what the announcer said he was
Got back. It
saying.
got back to the announcer, so I don't know.
I mean, hey, there's sideline reporters though.
But
There's a lot
anyways,
going on
yeah,
in the
yeah.
football game.
Evans don't need any type of motivation. He's been doing his job for a long
I don't
time.
think
I
he
remember.
heard it. I don't think he got wind of it, but I do think those corners was like, yeah, he's scared. Then, oh no, he's not scared.
Yeah, I hope them yeah, I hope them
You
corners
pumped him
say
up for
he's
nothing, man. Yeah,
gonna be.
it's Mike Evans over there, man. He's gonna get his eventually. He's gonna get his eventually. Yeah, one thing for sure though that's been really, really hurting the Lions defensively is that they've always had trouble against a top notch wide receiver on the other side. And I don't think Ayuk or um, the way Debo plays, because he's like a slot,
Yeah.
um, he's not that, they're not that dominant receivers that they face like JJ, Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb, Mike
Oh yeah.
Evans. They're not any of those guys. And
Hey, CD Deuce said you're a running back. He just flat out said you're a running back.
man, that's I'm glad CD Deuce is back. He not only is he back, he's out there producing. He's out there
That's the
producing.
biggest thing.
He's out there producing,
He's
and it's
really
going.
out there playing. Like what did he say? His song called Mutant Genes. Like this guy, because I'm thinking, because he was real life hurt, and he out there playing with no fear. I don't see any level of apprehension, and he was willing to say, I'm scared. He
Yeah,
said when before he got back, because he didn't come back the Cowboys game he didn't play, I don't believe, right?
no, no,
I want to say the Cowboys game he sat and then he came back against the Vikings, um, in the last however it went. But he was like I'm a little scared, because you don't know you can get clear, you can do all the tests, you can lift weights, but until you make that first hit, you don't know what's gonna happen.
no.
But yeah, he's back better than ever, fearless, and he's ready to take us to the Super Bowl. He said they didn't bring me here to get us to the playoffs. They brought me here to get up to a Super Bowl. So
That's crazy.
I
That's
feel
crazy.
that. I feel that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's another dude that's gonna go down. Regardless, I really think that they're gonna pay him whatever they need to pay him to keep him here. But he's gonna go down in history as one of those guys. Remember CD Deuce? You remember 28? You remember CD Deuce? Now he got us to the Super Bowl. He was talking all that smack and how he was hurt most of the year. People are gonna remember him for that because
Yeah,
this year here, we gonna it's gonna be so there's gonna be so many things that we're gonna be like. I remember St. Brown. That
yeah,
dude, that dude was automatic.
yeah.
He did drop one pass. I remember that pass he dropped. I'm like, this is messed up. I ain't never seen him drop no passes. He saw them he heard the
He heard them
footsteps.
footsteps.
Oh,
Anytime,
that hit was coming.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. He took his eyes off the ball because he was coming when you coming across the middle like that. He saw the dude and was just making sure like no, no. So yeah, I
He knew
don't.
if he dropped it quick enough that a hard hit would have got him a penalty.
Yeah, but see that's the difference
Because
between
technically, when it hits your hands, you're legally allowed to hit them, but
yeah.
to some extent.
Well, they've changed the rulings because they used to get plastered. They can't do it anymore so much. Like you can hit them, but you can't go crazy. They're gonna throw a flag because you go over the middle,
Yep.
and that wrong person is there with cruel intentions. You were
They'll
fooled.
take the
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean before the ruling changed, you were fooled. Like it was a legal hit. If that ball touched your hand, they were going to meet you with brutal force, and they didn't care. It was worse back in the 70s and 80s when the Raiders played. You didn't go over the middle with them because they had some mean
Yeah.
safeties that dared you to do that. They gave you the
What
middle
was
of
the
the
guy?
field.
Last
It-
name start with a P. Plunkett. No, that's the quarterback.
that's a quarterback. I can't remember those safeties' names, but man, they had some rough
Lang.
ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had some rough ones. They had- uh, if you think about it, Frisco had one. Ronnie Lott,
Ooh.
uh,
John
Ronnie
Lynch.
John Lynch, another one. They were um, they were some monsters as far as that safety position. You didn't
What
you
they
didn't
they
get a.
said Daryl Stingley. Who's that?
I think that's the. I
That the
don't
one
know
that
who
plays
that
for
is.
the LSU? Is that the one that I know they had a guy?
Play for Texans.
Yeah, I think there's a Stingley. There's a Stingley on
Yeah, we're
that.
talking more like safeties though.
Is that a new comment or is that old? No,
That's
no, that's a
that's,
new one. That's a new one.
that's pretty new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought we had
Eh, yeah. So
zoned off.
well, I guess offensively I'm not worried, but one of the things is though, if the offense isn't clicking, and I think that's when we're in serious trouble. And there's only been one game, two games I can point out where the offense really, really was at a. Well, I want to say, well, probably a few more than that.
Bears
Uh,
game?
well, Kansas City
Same.
first game. I expected out of the first game. I don't expect the offense to be humming in the first game.
Were we not clicking in the first game? A
The
little
score
bit?
was 21-20.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Clicking is versus the Chargers. Clicking is, you know what I'm saying, versus Minnesota both times.
Broncos.
You know what I'm saying?
Chargers, yeah. That was a shootout.
Yeah. But the thing is, Baltimore, that game,
Oh,
three and outs in a row, first half,
nasty.
first quarter. That kind of that a three and out early kind of makes me think, oh my goodness. And I think from what my experience is this year is when the Lions get the ball first, or when the Lions get their first opportunity on offense and they go down the field, oh, it's going to be a good day offensively.
Rams
It's
game.
going to be a good day offensively. It's
Same
it's
thing.
almost like a rhythm type thing. It's like once they start dinking and dunking, and then that play action is working for them, the throws underneath, the runs, the screens, the check downs are working, everything's working. That's when you know it's clicking. Uh, Jack Tatum, that's the guy for the Raiders. Patriots
Yeah.
wide receiver in the late 70s who had his neck broke by Jack Tatum. You did
Damn.
not go across the middle, and Jack Tatum is lurking back there. You just didn't.
Mhm. Yeah.
The
I
rules
heard
were
of
totally different back then, but and they
anything when
definitely
was
made it.
there penalties? Like
There were
there was no
penalties, but they rarely call. They used to wear. I
neck
know the
braces and
Raiders,
shit.
the cornerback Lester Hayes used to wear stickum, right? That was this spray that they spray
Right.
all over their hands and arm, and the ball would actually stick to their hands if it touched it. They
Yeah.
outruled it later. Yeah, it was bad. Lester Hayes
No,
was a corner.
no, it's funny, it's ironic because that was one of the audio segments in the Madden games. He brought that up, and of course
Yeah,
he coached for the Raiders.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I
But yeah,
remember. Yeah, I remember him saying, but that was actually true. Like he would actually
yeah.
touch you, and the
Oh,
jersey would. That's how
it
good
would help
Stickum
him.
was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Dave says Stickum was also a paste.
It had to be.
Yeah, it helped them. It helped them catch the ball, the football. It helped keep up with receivers. I mean, it was they 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 got rid of it. They said they can't use Stickum. That's how bad the Raiders. I know Lester Hayes in particular used to use it. He was my favorite corner as a kid. So he was he was one of those dirty guys in that defensive backfield. You put him on your best receiver, he was gonna bump and run and hold, and you know what I'm saying. He was one of them. He was one of them corners there.
Mhm. I'm more of a
So
Charles Woodson kind of guy, but you know.
yeah, Charles was different though. Charles was different. They like I said, they changed a lot of the rules. So a lot of the rules were
Oh
changed
yeah,
because of
yeah,
the way
yeah,
the
yeah.
Raiders played.
Totally different. Yeah,
Yeah, because of the way
yeah.
they played back then. They
Oh, they were the influence of that.
man man they yeah, it was people getting hurt. You know what I'm saying in those games. The Raiders wasn't playing, and now it's like you really can't. There's the rule that I don't quite understand, and that's because sometimes they call it, sometimes they don't. It's not consistent. Is the helpless defender?
Yeah, I knew that you were gonna. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's kind of like I don't know when they're going to call it because the ball can hit.
They call it when they don't get up immediately. They just say, "Oh, he's hurt." Flag. That's when they throw it. Really.
Because if you think about it, that hit that Kirby got on Hawk,
So
that was not only was it low, it was like it was late. The ball had. I know he.
he caught it though, right? He
Yeah.
caught it.
Nah, that wasn't. I'm talking about Higby. I'm sorry, versus the Rams.
The Rams guy. Yeah,
He didn't
yeah.
catch the ball, and he got hit after that.
But he touched it though, right?
Yeah, but back in the day, you had like free reign. If they touched it, you could plaster them,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah. You
Then
can't
they
do that
came up with
anymore.
helpless defender, and sometimes they call it, and sometimes they don't. We're gonna get to our last break real quick, Foster, and then we'll come back and wrap this up. Yeah. Do you have a prediction score for the game?
Oh.
Put you on the spot, didn't I? Put you on the spot.
ah, I'm not going against Detroit. I don't care how I look. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, I
when
wouldn't
it's all said and done, this is going to be a really tough game. The 49ers are when you look at the analytics, they check a lot of boxes.
Okay, okay.
Defense, offense, third down, you know, uh, you know, uh, how they perform on third down, in the red zone. They check a lot of boxes, and I do believe that they will be better. I feel like they needed to ramp up, and I feel like that the Packers came in with a full head of steam, which we talked about. I knew the Packers were going to come in with a full head of steam,
Mhm.
and that San Francisco was going to have to fight, and the Lions are in for a war,
Yes.
and um, I want to see how we travel. I kind of want to see how we travel out there. It's going to be, of course, the advantage is going to be in San Francisco's favor. But I, there's certainly nothing like the Ford Field right now. We're breaking records left and right as far as the noise metrics and the decibels and all that type of stuff. So this is going to be a tough one. Like I said, I'm not going against the Lions, even if I felt in my heart that the Lions were going to lose. I wouldn't fix my mouth to say it.
Kind of like the
My
New Orleans guys.
Yeah, like the one guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but he was not anyway. Uh,
He's
my
delusional.
score predictions. See, I almost said it, but you said 28-20.
That's a lot of points.
How many points we scored last game? 31?
No, I'm
No,
just no. I'm sorry. I'm thinking out loud because I have in my mind a low scoring affair.
a low scoring game. I don't know why. We haven't done that yet.
I know. It's always that one low scoring a game.
As long as we win, I don't care if it's 7-6. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah. Smog F87 asks, which is more key, turnover battle or the first team to reach 30? Turnover battle.
Turnover battle for sure. That's coach.
Yeah, coach, turnover battle. If you look at the games where the ball is being turned over, we lose those games.
Yeah, and their linebacker Dre Greenlaw had two picks against Love, and that ended up being the factor because they had full control over that game. Like you said, they were up in the third quarter. They were up, um, with a touchdown, and those two picks burned. I mean, granted, the second one was, they were
They
they
were
were com- they
desperate.
were
They were
they were
trying.
down at that point. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah,
I'm like the linebacker got two picks.
yeah.
Like,
I like our chances
wow. But
if
yeah,
we're
how
moving
many
the
times we take?
ball and not turning the ball over. I like our chances if we're not turning the ball over.
Yeah, and Golf has done a good job. He's took care of it. Took care of the ball. He hasn't thrown a pick since. I don't know. Did he throw it in the? Okay, our last three games were Minnesota, Dallas, Minnesota. Did he throw any picks in any of those games?
I don't think so.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I
He
don't think
hasn't
so.
thrown any in the playoffs. So his last pick would have been probably Chicago, maybe, or
Might have been Chicago. Definitely
it was a
Chicago.
while. It was a while ago though. It's that was December though. We saw that. We were in New York. So
Yeah.
it's been a
It was
while. But yeah,
early December. It was December 10th
right, right.
because we
So
were in.
that right. So yeah, the turnover is more important because there's a good chance that what I say 28-20. So yeah, there's I don't see it getting to 30 points. I don't see it getting to 30 points. Um, their defense is pretty tough. Defense is pretty tough, and they're gonna be more in sync than they were against Green Bay, I think.
Coach has another question. I'll read it and you can answer it. Do you think Ertz will have any impact if elevated from the practice squad? Short time to get playbook acquainted, but also has quality playoff experience. But first, Foss, explain to the people why Ertz was signed.
So as far as I know, I almost said Brock Purdy. Brock Wright, Brock Wright broke his forearm,
Okay.
and he actually had a pretty good run and catch in that last game. But yeah, so he's out for the year, season, the playoffs, whatever. And I want to say James Mitchell is still hurt. So
Yes. So that,
so we
and then you have
have
a banged up Sam Laporta's not 100%.
he's not 100%. He's looked pretty good, but yeah, he's not 100%. And then we have a guy that we signed. He went to Harvard. I have no idea what his name is. I
Hmm.
apologize, but he played last game.
Yeah.
So so Ertz was definitely an emergency guy that we had to bring in because we have Laporta, who, like you said, was nearly taken out of the playoffs.
Mhm.
Um, we got dude from Harvard who's brand new, and then we have
Yes.
nobody else. We got Jason Kabinda and Malcolm Rodriguez. I mean, he played fullback, but I don't think he can play tight end. Tight end is a very complex position. So, as far as what Ertz's impact could be, uh, he does have playoff experience. He plays for he was an ex-player on your Eagles. I hope to not have to see him very much, just because that means that something else may have happened. But I do think you know, he has the capability of jumping in there and making some type of impact just because he's a veteran. He's been around for a long time, and I'm sure there's ways for guys to come in and do this and that. You know,
Right.
obviously not everything, but he's been around long enough and has experience to where he could make some impact, but hopefully not much.
Yeah. Um, it's the wrong time of the year to hope that someone has to be signed this week and make an impact uh, in the NFC Championship game. I mean that's out. I don't care who the professional is. It's an awful lot to ask. There's we don't know what kind of shape he's in. We don't know if we know he doesn't know the playbook. Um, and then game reps. You need game reps to be prepared versus a very good team. So
I think he played for the Cardinals this year, though. I want to say Ertz was just released.
okay,
Um, so he, he's played, he hasn't sat all year or anything like that.
but you know what I'm hoping,
Um,
Foster,
let's look at it
when it
here. Pull it up
because see what needs to happen is
Come on.
Laporta's kind of he's not with you. You're going to have to rest him some because it looks like he's the healthiest uh, tight end we have outside of the guy from Harvard. So I'm hoping Khalif Raymond will be back, so you'll see more 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. You know, so you can give
I
Laporta a break a little bit because at
right.
one point, if you paid attention, at one point during the game versus Tampa Bay, he got him down the field. He went golf stuck with him until I think he went out because he was tired. I mean, he got like 3 or 4 passes in a row. They were big gainers,
Yeah, he's
so
definitely his favorite target. But I think more than likely you're going to see J-Mo, Brown, Reynolds, and Peoples Jones.
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think that's more likely because I want to say Raymond is out.
He
He
may
might
be
be
out.
out.
It's a good thing they got Donovan Peoples Jones.
That comes in it would
That
have been Antoine Green or whatever his name, Antonio Green or whatever his name
it's Antoine. Antoine.
is. Antoine. I know what Antonio Green. That's why
Yeah.
I say that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So it was a good job to pick him up because when Khalif
insurance.
Raymond goes down and you're down a wide receiver, and I'm hoping JMO gets loose.
He's returning punts too. Peoples Jones is now returning punts as
Yeah,
well.
for
So
sure. Sure, he always have though.
very.
I mean, when
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
at
yeah.
Michigan,
I'm just
when he
saying
was
that
at
he was
Michigan, he
able
was a
to
punt returner, and
play
with
that
Cleveland,
role.
yeah. So he's capable. Um, so it's going to be an interesting game.
An
Um,
underrated acquisition.
yeah, I think people were kind of frowning up because like, what are you getting him for? I mean, but I'm like that's a good receiver there. It's a good young receiver.
Yeah.
What time is the game Sunday? 3?
3 o'clock, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the early. No, isn't it the late game? 6 o'clock. We talked about this before. It's the
It's
prime time
if
game. It's the later game. I think The AFC plays
Did we talk
earlier.
about that?
Yeah,
No.
the AFC game plays earlier.
Oh, Tampa Bay was 3, right?
Yeah, I think we play at 6. Yeah, it's the later game,
6:30. 6:30.
6:30. Yeah, yeah.
Look at our
It's
record,
been
14-5. Ain't that beautiful? 14-5. That's crazy.
you like that, huh, Foss? You can get used to
Yeah,
this.
man, I, yeah. Of course, 14-5 is not a real record because of regular season, but
You counted the
um,
2 playoff games.
yeah. I mean, that's what it says on it. When you look up the game, it counts, the playoffs. So that looks like a really good thing. Yeah. West Coast, of course. You're right.
Yeah, it usually takes us 2, 3 seasons to get 14 games around.
And some of those years, it's some of those years, like 5 years, like you win go a couple seasons winning 2, 3 games. It's gonna take you
Yeah,
a minute to get to 14.
man. What? Man, that's Lions have come a long way, man. I hope this season there's many more like this season ahead. Um, one thing I can say, and I said this last year, so it's not just a flash in the pan. I said I like the direction that this team is going. Said this last year. I'm saying it again. I think after all these years, uh, they finally found the right coach.
Yeah,
As
that's for certain,
the
no doubt about
culture has totally changed. Um, you can you can go down the list of coaches we've had, and we haven't had a success. We haven't had uh, a consistent success rate. Like you might have a winning season and a losing season, a winning season, a losing season, a couple of losing seasons, and but I think the culture you can tell it's a different culture than what it's been.
it.
Like I did not like when he got hired and was talking about biting kneecaps. I didn't. I was like, man, I don't know. This is
It
not.
just didn't mean anything because he hadn't done anything yet.
Well, we
I
seen the
I
coach.
like I like
we-
the mentality
I
when you
like
think
the
about,
mentality, but
yeah,
when you see coaches come and go, they
it
always
doesn't
say
matter.
things like that, and it's like,
They say what
okay,
they're supposed to
really.
say. They say what they're supposed to
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
And when he said, I'm like, really, biting kneecaps is the best you can come up with. I
Es-
expected something.
Especially when the first year we went 3-13, it's like,
Uh, you, you,
okay,
you,
here we go again.
you were nibbling toes. You wasn't biting kneecaps first year.
Yeah. It was you was flirting with them if that's the because you ain't do too much of nothing. There was no
Nah, they were
damage
good.
done.
And then, like at the beginning of the second year, it's like, come on, man. This is.
Oh
But
man,
but one thing, though, they were very competitive. Though they were losing games
man,
in the beginning of the season, but they were competitive.
we've been there. You know that.
Yeah, yeah. But we saw something though. We saw something, and then when they started winning those games, and we're out of playoff contention by then, but they started winning games and they started looking better. They started looking confident. He was making those he was gambling. He was gambling with the play calling and this, that, and other. And you seen an offense last year that woke up and you started hearing Ben Johnson's name as the coordinator. And this team started to develop an identity. They're buying into the system. You've seen the hard knocks. They are gelling together as teammates. And then that brings us to this season. So we kind of saw the transformation from what we wanted it to be to what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's been good to see.
Yeah,
So you got
great,
any last
great,
final
good,
thoughts
good
before we
input
wrap
into
this
life.
up? Huh?
Last thoughts. Let's just get to Vegas, man. Too much. I ain't got too much rap for these guys.
Let me tell you
See you
something,
in
right?
Vegas.
The last broadcast I mentioned if the Lions win versus Frisco, the last show I said we going to Vegas, Foster. Might not be able to get in the Super Bowl, but we can go to the bar or something.
Right.
My wife looked up places to stay, and she was like, "They're not expensive." I said, "Oh, they will be. They will be. Those
gotta,
prices are gonna go up."
gotta buy it
But,
now.
but yeah, those prices, them plane tickets is gonna be high. Everything's gonna go up.
Yeah.
So
Gotta go on faith.
yeah, that about do it for us. If you haven't subscribed to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube, please do so. Subscribe to Motor City Metrics. Check us out on all the podcast streaming platforms: Spotify, iHeartRadio, uh, Apple Podcast. Type in Bleachers to Speakers in the search. Bleachers to Speakers FFSN. Search for us. You'll see the logo and download those episodes. Um, you can listen to us. You don't have to watch us. You can listen to us while you're waiting for the next game to come on, while you're cleaning the house, on the way to work, while you're if you work in an office setting or are able to wear ear pods. You can listen to us while you're working, man. Let us help you with your day. You'll get a good hour of good conversation, whether you like the Lions or not. We're going to talk about football. So let you know where what we're thinking up this way if you're not a Lions fan. So on that note, Foster, we're gonna get out of here. You got anything else you want to say?
Vegas.
Vegas.